Hey, and welcome to the Sit Down with Suzanne podcast. I am your girl, Suzanne, also known as Positively Suzanne. Now, remember, this podcast was created with us in mind. It is a reminder that not only are we worthy, but we deserve the best versions of ourselves. So grab a cup of tea or your beverage of choice and sit back and relax and join me on this journey.
Hey guys, so as you know, I am talking about female friendship for the month of October, and I am so excited about today's guest. So I invited Miss Jennifer Gaskin on the podcast because she has very passionate views about a lot of stuff. And I honestly, I think that she's going to have very passionate views about this. But also, one of the things that I admire about her is that she has a friend who's also going to record an episode. But like, I really truly admire the way they write for each other. I really truly admire the way they speak about each other when the other one is not in the room. And I genuinely love and respect friendships like that. So I wanted to invite her and chat. So hey Jennifer, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, hello. I'm glad to be back.
Yes, I know, right? So I'm doing this one, and we're not introducing like what we do and all of that. We're just gonna jump right in and have a conversation about, like what it is that you think defines female friendship. That's it. That's what the podcast is about. So talk to me about how you feel about that.
I think, and you and I have had conversations about this before. I think female friendships are unique, right? Because as women, we see each other differently. We see each other through our own experiences. And, I feel like as women, we have a special, place for each other where we can empathize and support each other from a place of knowledge, and a place of, just emotion and empathy. And it can be such an authentic, supportive relationship, that is really critical to just living. And we talk all the time about all the challenges of living in our social construct, right? And part of that is gender. Not just race or religion, but also gender. Women are treated differently just because of, who we are genetically. So it's important that we align each other just on that basic premise, of humanity and just, seeing each other in our own skin. And I feel like women have that unique way to do that with each other because we can see our own experiences in each other.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, I agree. I think that it's such an important relationship, the female relationship. But I also
Mm-hmm.
see a lot of catty female relationships disguising
Mm-hmm.
themselves as friendship. So have you ever found yourself on, the receiving end of a friendship that turns out not to be a friendship at all?
And unfortunately, yes, right. And I was sharing a story with you before we started recording, and in that situation, I yeah, I mean, I just feel like for whatever reason, there's some competition between women, where we feel like either we're in competition with that person or somehow I'm looking to use your shine to improve my shine, which doesn't have to be the case, right? Like we can all sit at the table and all eat at the table and all be supportive of each other and show up for each other. I think, you talk about, my relationship with Giselle and I see, you out with Raquel. I see you out with Mish. And I see, us all supporting one another and showing up for one another. And what's wrong with that? Right? Like, why does it have to be a competition? Why do I need to look at you and say, oh, Suzanne's doing a podcast, so somehow that makes her in competition with Giselle and I? No, it's not. Like, we both have podcasts and we both can support each other and we can both amplify what each other is doing and show up for each other. It doesn't have to be a situation where if you have something, I can't have something. We can both have it, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? What is that about? And then also there's this, and I just recently experienced this with someone who I had been friends with for years. there's also this thing where they feel like, I'm going to condone your negative behavior. No, I'm not going to condone your negative behavior. And if I'm truly your friend, I'm going to say to you, hey, you're doing X, Y, and Z, and this is what I see. And I think that that's, detrimental in some way. And if you're not willing to hear me, or if you're hearing me as being a quote unquote hater, then we don't need to continue that friendship.
Mm, absolutely. Because
We should be able to share with each other, right? Like, I should be able to say to you, like, Suzanne, I don't think that that's, I don't think that you should say that, or I don't think you should treat somebody in that way. Have you considered this or whatever? Like, as friends, we should be able to have that conversation.
We should be able to check each other. Like, girl, calm down with it.
Exactly. Like, chill out. And I was talking to, my relationship with my husband. I know we're talking about female relationships, but like my relationship with my husband, and people always talk about being submissive in a relationship. And I don't think it's necessarily about being submissive. It's about giving where you need to give, right? There's like you just said, there's certain situations where, yeah, I do need to pipe down and be quiet. You know what I mean? And I know that my husband loves and respects me enough that if he's like, hey, Jen, chill. Like, I know where that's coming from, right? And it should be the same in your relationship. Like, I feel like all relationships are the same in that way. Like, you should be able to, understand that this person loves and respects you enough that if they're telling you, hey, you're doing something wrong, or you need to chill out or whatever, you should be able to pause and say, okay, this person is telling me this for a reason.
No, absolutely, because it's a person that you love. And, you talk about your husband. That's true. It's like your husband, like you're on the same team. You guys want each other to win, want each other to succeed. So if he's checking you, all right, clearly, okay, the situation calls for some check-in.
Right. You're like, okay, maybe I need to, calm down.
Exactly. And I feel the same thing about friendship. It's like, as I said, you and Giselle, I am pretty sure like you guys are both passionate women. I'm a passionate woman. And, my girl, my best friend, she'll say like, okay, Suzanne, calm down now. Like, because I'm like, and then you'll pull up and it's like, all right, I did kind of like go from 0
or you
to
call
60.
each other. Like, I know Giselle and I will call each other and I'm like, hey, so this happened, right? And then I did X, Y, and Z. And she's like, Jen, I need to do that.
But you need that because like we're human beings and like, we get in our feelings sometimes, right? And we react to something that's not necessarily the way it should be because we misinterpret something. Again, we misinterpret. But having that female friend that can check you and you just pull up and laugh. But it's like, it's one of those catty friendship. You're going to think like, okay, why are they checking me? It's because of something else. And it's just like, to me, that's so much work to maintain those type of friendships. Like, I just don't do them.
Me either. Or people who weaponize it, right? Like, let's say, I come to you and I'm sharing a situation with you, and then later you weaponize it against me.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, you did blah, 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 blah. And it's like, wait, I shared that with you for your support, or I shared that with you for your guidance, not for you to use that against me. And it's also okay to love people from a distance, right? There's people that I know that, I would say, yes, they're my friends. I would still show up for that person, but it's not a person that I'm every day gonna be talking to that person, or maybe it's not a person that I'm reaching out and sharing my innermost thoughts in because of whatever reason. But that doesn't mean that I don't still love you and care for you as a person. I do, but I just realize that friendship needs to be gated in some way.
Yeah, no, there's different levels. When I introduced the introductory episode, I talk about like there's different levels. I mean, there's acquaintances, there's colleagues, there's peers, and there's all of that. There's people that you're cool with, you chill with, but like they're not necessarily the person that you'd invite on your couch on a Saturday night to just chill and watch a show. And
exactly,
it's like my personal space for me is just like I don't want any negativity, any bad vibes in it. So just like I don't invite just anybody up in my space. So you're right. You are able to have this friendship from a distance, and folks is like, well, you have to set the boundaries on those friendships. You
Exactly.
know
Yep.
the type of friendship it is. You know what they're capable of. You know what you're capable of. And for me personally, the first time you weaponize that, I'm gonna call you out on it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I just won't give you the opportunity to do it again. Like,
And it has to be safe, right?
yeah.
Like your friendship has to be safe. It has to be a safe place for you. Like you were talking about your home. Like my home is my safe haven.
Mm,
So nobody, like if you're like, you're not coming in unless we are close and the vibe is right. And I feel like it's a safe place for me.
hmm.
And that's it.
Nope. Listen, you know, I bring no bad energy in my house, my friend. So,
Basically. Basically, and like I tell people all the time, I have dogs. So if I tell my dog once, okay, this person's safe, and my dogs keep going growling after you,
yeah.
your
Okay.
vibes ain't right.
That's it. Because, you know, it's like kids and dogs, they do pick up on things that we sometimes
Mm-hmm.
don't, you know. So do you think that, because I mean, we hear the phrase a lot, like no new friends. Do you think that we can, as women, we can still make new friends?
I struggle with that.
Mm,
I struggle with that personally because I think we can. I think people have gotten burned, right? And myself personally, I can say that I've gotten burned in the sense that, I've allowed people into my space and they didn't respect my space. And it wasn't a good experience for me. And that's kind of like a boundary, right? Where you're like, no new friends, because I don't want to go through that process of allowing somebody into my space and getting hurt.
mm,
So I think that's a protection. It's a defense mechanism for people. It's just like, okay, well, I'm just not gonna let anybody in. But I do feel like we lose.
mm.
When you don't let anybody in. I think you have to let people in, but you just have to, like you said, set boundaries. Really be aware and know when it's safe and when it's not safe, and not be afraid to cut things, right?
Mm,
Like, okay, I thought, but all right, sorry, no, you know what I mean? And really
mhm,
just be in touch with your own feelings, right? Like, don't be afraid. Like, if your vibe, something tells you that person's vibe is off, follow it,
mhm.
right? Like, we have intuition for a reason. Follow that intuition. But I think we should be like, because we change, right? Like, I
We
know I've
do.
changed as I grow and evolve, my interests change, what I want to be around change. And a lot of times the friends that we've had, they don't necessarily change in the same way that you do. So you do have to explore new friendships. I just think it's just tougher as we get older. I just think it's tougher because it's just more impactful. I feel like our friendships are more meaningful as you get older. So when you lose someone or somebody betrays you, it's much more, it's much more damaging, I guess is the
No,
word I'm
it
looking
is.
for.
No, it is. Like we do, as you said, we do have a defense mechanism. Like we have our defenses up, because we've been hurt and we're like, listen, no new friends because like I don't have time for that. But again, I do agree that we lose out when we're closed off to new friendship, because you can meet somebody incredible and it doesn't mean that, you have to you're going to meet them immediately, or you're looking is just being open to the possibility, not being closed off. I think it's similar to dating, right? Like if you're out here dating fools and, like at some point you're going to be like, listen, I'm done with this dating world, but you won't meet someone if you're closed off. So I think,
Exactly.
it's like with friendship and, man, I am open to new friendship, but like you said, I mean, intuition, discernment, call it whatever you have. Like I'm able to be like, okay, this person could, they could be a friend.
But I think as you get older, it's about quality over quantity, right? Like if you think
Absolutely.
about when you were younger, you had all these friends, but like,
Mm,
were they
yeah.
really your friends?
No.
Do you talk to any of those people? Like,
No. And at one
you know
point,
what I
right?
mean?
Like they were so important to us, right? Like you're like, oh my goodness, you talk every day. And now, like, again, it's like I hardly knew you. I mean, but you're right. We do go through different stages and phases and things like that. That we sometimes just and it's okay.
No, it's okay. And and it doesn't mean like, there's friends that I have had since I was a kid and we still talk, but it doesn't have to be every day. You know what I mean? Like my best friend, we maybe get on the phone once a month.
Yeah.
Sometimes even longer than that. But when we get on the phone, we're on the phone for like 4 hours. And my husband's like, what in the world are y'all talking about?
Girl.
But you know what I mean? And like, or if something happens in one of our lives and we just like pick up the phone and it's like, I just need to talk to you. You know what I mean? I just need to hear your voice, those kinds of things. It doesn't, your friendship changes. It changes. Yeah. And if those friends that remain are the ones who change with you.
Yes.
And like I said, you do pick up people along the way as you evolve. And I think that that's okay. It's just, you just got to be a little bit more choosy.
Yes, no, and I love that because it's like, just what you said right now, like that's what I love about friendship. Like, you're having a day and something happened and just pick up the phone and that like just slip right in to that comfortable, safe space where you can just talk about like your day that you had. And it's not something that someone you talk to every single day, but to be able to have that safe space to know that it's available to you. I think that's pretty powerful.
No, like, it's really huge. Do. Like I can't, there's so many situations that I've been in where just having that person just to have as a sounding board. And it's not even like I'm looking for the person to like solve my problem. Not at all. I just want somebody to hear me. And I think that that's even more, it's even more powerful for us as women of color. It's even more powerful for us as Black women, because a lot of the spaces that we go in, we're not being heard or we're not being heard fully, right? And when you have those friendships with other Black women, you can share fully your experience. And I think there's there's so much power in being able to share your authentic story with somebody and having that person hear you and understand.
No, absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of the things that I was going to ask, like as Black women, we also know that, Black female friendship is so different and it's so important because they do understand the microaggressions, the subtle things that we have to deal with. It's just like, I follow these couple ladies on LinkedIn, and I think you read her book, the Elizabeth Leba, like I'm Not Yelling.
Yep, I was gonna say Elizabeth Leba. Yep.
Yes, and there's a couple other women like Lisa Early in that I follow, but when they share their experiences, I was like, yo, like.
And it's like, I get it. I've had a similar experience.
It is, I've had the. Can I touch your hair? I've had you're so colorful. When I wear a bright color.
You're so articulate.
Oh, girl.
Am I not supposed to know how to talk?
I'm not quite sure what's supposed. Like, I don't think that is a compliment. So, I
don't think that's a compliment. Like, what am I supposed to be doing?
Exactly. So you're right. For me, it's so important. Like, I can just pick up the phone with another Black friend and be like,
this happened. Right. Like, you can say this happened. Like, and the person is like, what?
Yeah, they touched my hair again. And, like for just to understand the entire history of that.
You don't have to explain it. You could just say, they touched my hair again.
That's like, it.
You don't have to say, like, oh my God, this keeps happening to me. Da, 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 da. Like, you don't have to explain why you feel that way. It's just accept it. And you're heard.
Well, and I think we can have friendships with people of different races, different classes.
Oh, absolutely.
So many different things. But one of the things I have found it's that. So I had a friend that was not Black. And like, I feel like, so when things happen that are disservices to Black, when things happen that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, are unfair, which has been, I mean, going on for years, I felt like they wanted me to like explain it. Well, that's not, and I said, okay, I had to say, let me stop you right there.
Right, right. Just stop.
It's not your job to explain to me my feeling. It's not your job to explain to me
Mm-hmm.
racism or what that, like, I am telling you, this is what happened. I am telling you, this is my feeling. That's it. Nothing else. So I think that's why sometimes it's so important, when I have relationships with Black women, I could just pick up the phone and be there. And doesn't mean that I don't have relationship with women of other races. It's just that there is truly something powerful about sisterhood and female friendship.
Yeah, because you need somebody who understands your experience. I think there's certain, like you said, I have friends of all different races, all different backgrounds, all different things, but there's something unique about the experience of Black women, particularly in America, but I mean globally as well. But in America in particular, our experiences are unique, and they're not the same as anyone else. I talked about in my TEDx about, just how did we become here in America, right? Like, what has that journey been for Black women in America? And even though, you and I come from the Caribbean, still, that experience is unique
No, it
to
is.
us.
It is. And sometimes, Jen, it's like that's Cheers song, right? Sometimes you just want to go where everybody knows your name, right?
Bingo. Yep. And it's like, I don't want to explain my existence. I just want to exist.
Exactly. And I just want to say, I had a tough day. What happened? And don't explain it. And nobody gets their feelings hurt because of that. So
Exactly.
I think it's powerful. Like, my female friendships to me are so important. And, it's like, I also show up for other females, like whether we're friends or
Mm-hmm.
not. And I think that we have to normalize that, showing up for other females. Like, not everybody's going to be your friend, and that's okay. I show up for other women. I show up for other Black women. I support
Yep.
them. I encourage them. I cheer for them, even if they don't know it, because I'm like, I want to see them win.
Exactly. Even like you said, even if, we're not walking the same path, that doesn't mean that I don't want to see you win.
Yeah,
I
no,
still want to see you win.
exactly. You said it earlier too. It's just like, about shine. It's like, your shine doesn't impact my shine. My shine doesn't
No,
impact
I
your
can
shine.
shine, you shine, whatever.
We could all shine together. And I just wish that, I mean, I have seen recently like these toxic levels of friendships and things like that. And you're fighting with your friend and you're on social media, which is never a good place to put your
That
argument.
is never a good, no, never,
It's like,
never.
because everybody weighs in. And like at that point, it's just like, like nothing's getting resolved. And I just, I wish we could have like a global conversation with like women to say like, hey, your female friendship is so important and essential to your well-being, your mental health. Like, it truly is. But I like, people don't really value friendship in that regard anymore.
Yeah, and that's part of, I think that's part of the struggle, right? Like, you talk about mental health. And if you're not cultivating those relationships, if you're not, living fully in your human existence, right? Which includes connection. Like, there's sociology experiments where they talk about, deprive, I mean, they're not they're not ethical anymore, but they talk about, depriving people of social connection. And we saw what happened in the pandemic. Like, people tanked in terms of their mental health. And it was all because you weren't having that actual, like, physical social interaction, right? Like, Facebook, social media doesn't replace that. And I
No.
think people have tried to, put social media in that space and try to make it replace those authentic relationships, but it doesn't work like that.
No,
As
not at all.
human beings, we need that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
We
I mean,
need it.
I love social media, like nothing, like, it has its ups and its downs,
No,
but you're
of
right.
course.
Sometimes you'll have a relationship on social media with someone and, like, they're like, oh, that's my friend. Like, we've never met. And like, I like you, we follow each other, support you and things like that. But to me, I need to know you. Like, I need to like physically
like
be in your
actually know
space.
you. Yes.
Like,
Because how do I know what you talk about a person's vibe, right? You
yeah,
talk about like if somebody comes, you gotta make sure. Like how I don't know your vibe off of social media. I
no,
can't
not at
feel your
all.
vibe off of
Exactly.
social media, but I can feel your vibe within 30 seconds of being in your presence.
Absolutely. Because in social media, I mean, people, not everybody's who they're supposed to be on social media, girl.
Mm-hmm.
And with these filters, they don't even look like they're supposed to
Right.
look.
You're like, wait, who are you? Who are you? Because I don't even recognize you. Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. And
Oh.
misinterpret. It's like, but yeah, no, I just think that I do believe that social media is people are trying to replace relationships with social media and things like that.
And you can't.
You cannot. You have to nurture friendship. I think it's so important, like you nurture friendship that you feed in and, allow yourself to be checked, and, check up on them, check them. And, when you see them going off the rail, check them. It's like, all right, well, calm down now. And just really, it's showing up for each other. I don't do backhanded compliments. And,
Oh God, I hate that. Like, just tell me what it is.
exactly. Just come right out and say, and things like that. And I think that I really wish like every woman would experience like having a true friend and,
Oh my
just
gosh. You could imagine, could you imagine? There's so many people that I feel like would just be in such a better place if they just had that one person in their life to just say to them, to speak the truth to them.
And that you need, and like you said, you don't need 1,000. Like if one is enough,
You don't
like
need one. You don't even need you need one. That's about it.
one is enough. Somebody who it's a safe space. You can truly be your fully authentic self. I don't have to put on airs. Like I'm gonna say, you don't have to second your stomach.
No. Just let the belly hang.
Make it hang out like a carnival.
Just let it hang and let everything out.
Exactly. So it's just like I feel like if I could let my stomach out in front of you, we cool.
Exactly. And it's just like, yeah, I'm not holding it. I'm not tucking in no belly. I'm not doing anything. Everything is out, and you can accept me with all my flaws.
Yes. No, and and do the same. And honestly, and I think that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to talk about it. And I hope that folks listen to it. And I don't know where it might lead and things like that, but I really feel
it's
like
an important conversation.
it is. It is. And I'm gonna get you on a panel one day because I've been trying to, and I'm trying to figure that logistics out. But I really do, and I want to talk to people from like different cultures, different because we're both from the Caribbean, we're both Black women, and I think friendship means a little different for us.
I agree.
There too, but I think
you got your friends can take you, but they won't bring you back, and
exactly
we got all that. We got all that
exactly. But like there is something to be said for female friendship, and everybody wants to be Gail and Oprah, but they all don't know what Gail and Oprah had to go through.
Listen, they don't know what Gail and Oprah do in the back. You know what I mean? They might be fighting.
Exactly, but you know what? That's their business. So I'm trying. Like I nurture my friendship so much, and like it's important. And I'm friendly. I'm out there, and I have a lot of acquaintances, and I talk to a lot of people. But my inner circle is tight.
Yes, tight. There's very few people that, I would say that, I feel like I can just be my complete and total self with that person and feel accepted and loved.
All right. And I love that for you. I love that for you that you have that, one or two, or like you only need one, but if you have more than one, you're blessed. And, I love that. So we are out of time. I can't believe it. These shows always go by so fast and like you just get caught up. But no, thank you so much for sharing your views. And, I'm gonna just your final thought on, how do you think we should, as women, go about forming and nurturing friendships?
I think you have to be open-minded. Be open-minded. You can't go in with the no new friends attitude. Otherwise you're not gonna, have any relationships. I think be open-minded to, different people. Sometimes you connect with people that you don't expect. One of my very good friends was a 65-year-old white woman who was adopted. And like, there's no reason, nobody would ever think, Jennifer and Marilyn would be friends, but we were the best of friends. So just be open because you never know who your spirit, may connect you to, but definitely be conscious and protect yourself and, be safe, but always lead with, humanity and love.
Mm. All right. I love it. And I think that is a perfect place to end. In any relationship, in any interaction, lead with humanity and love. And you can't go wrong from that. Because if I see you as a human being, I won't want to hurt you. I won't want to destroy you. And I want you to have your best life as you would wish my best life for me. So I thank you for hopping on. I thank you for sharing your views on friendship. And we're going to do something big with this one day. I don't know when,
Nah,
but
we gotta do it.
I'm trusting God, girl. But thank you so much. And
Thank you.
until next time, this is Suzanne saying, go out there and live your best life.
I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of the Sit Down with Suzanne podcast, which is available on all major podcasting directories, including Amazon, Apple, Google, Pandora, Spotify, and a plethora of other spaces, including my very own website at www.positivelysuzanne.com. So choose your app and subscribe, listen, like, share, write a review. Do what you got to do, but make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend that this podcast is where it's at. You can also support the podcast by donating to the show at buymeacoffee.com/positively Susie. And until next time, this is Suzanne saying, you, my dear, are worth it.